Hey, it's working again. Maybe. I had to go to StreamYard so I can see. I tried to do it again in YouTube and nothing worked. I just got the blackness, which was very odd. I've never had that happen. Yo, Frank the Tank, what's new in Canada? Getting snowed up on you? Brendan, I'm kind of good. Kind of good. Brendan, I might need help. I think I need to, I probably need to update. The problem I'm having is my Mac needs to be updated, but I don't think I can update this Mac anymore. And in order to update Chrome, I need a newer operating system update that I can't do. So they pin you in a corner and dick you around to where they make your stuff not work and glitchy, and then they make the updates. So yeah. Firefox doesn't work as good. I love Firefox, but for whatever reason, for like streaming stuff, Chrome's always been better. But I might have to go to Firefox. I might have to give Firefox a try again. Is V69, is that their color code for that? I'm sure it's a Rapala color. I'm sitting here sanding Hellabass's pick your own color baits, and I'm sanding them because I left off a very important part of the bait of the color that I was matching, which is bleeding olive shiner. And the part I left off was the red throat. Completely forgot that. So I told him to send it back. We will spray some red on the throat and send them back down the road. AJ could use a Sharpie. Hella could use a Sharpie, but we don't want to do these. We don't want to do that like that. He could have pulled out his Copic pen, but I'll blast a little red on here for him. And when I say a little, I will blast 80% of the bait with a red, and I say, "There's your throat, bro. There's your ruby red throat." So, got the secret sauce from Josh. You need some secret sauce? I got some. What have you got? What have you got planned for the sauce, Travis? What are you cooking up? Could have just had you do it. Could have. Could have. I think they were already in the mail at that point. Travis, is Josh just handing out the sauce willy-nilly? Sprocket red dye spray. I've actually, believe it or not, mixed Spike It with Midcoat and sprayed it on baits. It works. All right, I think I'm trying to be gentle here, sanding, so I don't sand through my clear coat in any of the corners. Jeremy, is it another 80-pound bag? Jeremy's got this juice hole he's going through. Sauce infused. But Hella did send me some worms. I really like these. I probably shouldn't handle these before I handle baits, but It's a swimming worm. They call it a buzz tail, but I wouldn't necessarily buzz it. I would sub buzz it, aka swim it. But thank you, Hella. And for the magical Hella, this is it, dude. This is like, this is it. This is the stuff. Will you message me privately and tell me where you acquired this so I can order more of what was in this bag? That's the real sauce. Had to send laptop to HP. They won't refund my $200 for the program I no longer have. Did they delete it? Did they like reinstall, like wipe your computer and then reinstall everything, and then they got rid of Photoshop or whatever, and or whatever it was you needed? I guess Photoshop's all like done online now, so you wouldn't lose it, but something like that, and then now it's gone forever. That's nice. Hell, you got to talk to Josh. That's what I want to know. Who who went to the Classic? Hella went. Morgan went. Who else we got in here? Travis went. AJ didn't go. Clay, did you go? Yo, JP. Let's see what this picture is. Jeremiah just sent me. More hogs. Pretty healthy looking fish, bro. You sure, or is that a Bill Dance Lake? Looks like it. Carpet looks nice in that rig too. Looks shiny and new. If y'all hear anything, it's the dog snoring. Great time. I didn't get to spend the time I wanted. Travis, did you go solo or did you have fam? Too far. Uncle Sam is punishing AJ. What bass fishing had 5 for 17? Thought was 7 muskie. Is wherever you were fishing known for their muskie, or was it just a freak day? It's not Brian. It's at home. All my mail goes home. You watch from the bank? You were one of those guys? I went to a Bill Dance Lake yesterday. How was it, Kyle? I had 2 guys with me and one is in no condition to walk. Yeah, that makes it tough. I've seen Hella. That's kind of cool. Everybody got to kind of mingle around with each other. Travis, you said you were interested in the Rick Clunn stuff. Morgan picked up a couple odds and ends. Hella picked up some odds and ends. Apparently he's going all in the Swimbait game. Got a new to me bass cat. I got running last night. I decided to go rip it. Did you go rip it on Grand and like do donuts around people? Go follow boats. Only place in 1 hour's drive so the water without blowing out was only about 1. How convenient. Very low still house. That sounds sketch. I bought some of the Save Mart frogs that look like copies of Spro. I haven't seen those. You met Sean live? Sean went? Did he have his beautiful hair down, or was it up in a bun? Was he eating hot dog weenies and rice, or whatever that weird shit he eats is? I really got FOMO, and it happens every year. Right before the classic starts, like the day before, I'm like, damn, I should have gone. And I think that every time, but I didn't. Caught my second bass of 2024, dragging an ultravide speed worm through the old grass that is starting to stand up a little. Tom, can't beat that, dude. Can't beat that. Dragging a worm through some old weeds. Day one, yeah, I feel like day one is like the most exciting. Like everybody's fired up to be there. Day 2 and 3. Day two's big because everybody's off work. And Sunday, I feel like Sunday's always kind of lame. But dude, when I went to the one in Conroe, I stayed at that expo for like 10 hours talking to people and just like looking at stuff. And I was by myself. So like I didn't have to worry about anybody saying stop what you're doing. The dude, that captain dude, that the inshore dude from down in like Galveston or wherever he's from, Houston. He was there. He was hawking the Hunchbacks because he had a Strike Pro deal, or he's part of Strike Pro. Him and Castledine are tied together somehow. I guess through Strike Pro, but he was there hawking his Hunchbacks, and I remember looking at him and thinking, God, those are ugly. Like, good luck with that, dude. Where's the classic next year? Did the FBD hats sell good, I'm guessing? I was happy with the classic because I picked first and second place for fantasy fishing during the lake. You picked Hamner? Fort Worth. That'd be a good excuse. Amy's actually in Dallas. You know, it's funny. Amy's flying back home tomorrow out of Dallas. I bet if she were tuned to the bass fishing world, she would probably have somebody on her flight or recognize somebody in the airport that is in professional bass fishing. Like if I were with her, I would probably like see people, but I don't know. Maybe not. Ray Roberts. Maybe I should go to that one. Fork up $5K for a little broom closet booth. I didn't think Christy was going to be top 10. So my partner that weeks ago. Yeah. I mean, what's weird is I saw somebody else say it, and I thought the same thing when I read the comment, was that it didn't, like, the footage didn't even look like Grand Lake footage. Like when I was watching it, I was like, this could be anywhere. You know what I mean? Go to Possum Kingdom. Drive 90 miles back to Tulsa. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. I can get behind that. Hey, Jay, I would kind of want a booth, but I would need a giant inventory just to break even on the booth cost. So I would probably need to be doing that now. So I guess if I were, I mean, if I were selling swim baits and I sold, say, for $100 a piece, I'd need to sell 50 swim baits just to pay for my booth, not the cost of getting there and staying there. So I would probably need to sell into the hundreds to make it worth going. But, and then, I mean, you got to think, if you're trying to sell crankbaits, holy crap, dude, you got to have, I'd have to sell 500. Walk around with them in a backpack. Could. The only way, I know a lot of guys like split booths. That'd be a good way to do it. That way you're not so handcuffed. Yeah, that's what I was gonna go. I was gonna go creep in with Josh, but Josh had some nice show equipment, like all his setup stuff. It's real nice. Put in that gammy order, dude. Everybody'd be rushing. I'd be covered up with people. They'd be like, "Why is everybody at that guy's booth?" Because he's got Gamakatsu bronze round bends, short shanks. I'm like, what? Yeah, dude ordered 500,000 of them. Josh was tucked in the smallest corner. I guess that's what happens. I wonder how the Morgan, did you see the dude's name shads flying off the shelves? Mark Menendez would buy you out. That'd be fun. That'd be fun. He said you called right after he left to ask if he left. Probably. They said, I heard the I think Morgan told me the might have been Morgan, I can't remember. Somebody told me the Universe booth was packed the whole time, which is weird. That because like the Swimbait community typically stays and does Swimbait community stuff. They have their own events. They don't commingle with like the tournament world. So to have a group of like a strictly like bass tournament enthusiast group being littered with Swimbait people and companies, that would have been interesting to observe. There's still a lot of Swimbait guys sitting on a pile. Yeah. So that would have, like, I wonder if those, like, I wonder if the guys that came there strictly for Swimbait stuff, like, if they like looked around and were like, let me check this other stuff out, or if they just got their whatever they were looking for and left. Steve was probably doing some shopping, I guess. They had staggered drops, so at like 2 p.m. they did a whatever bait, and then at 4 they did another one. That's a good way to keep people interested, I guess. Did not see a lot of 402 shirts. That's kind of shocking. Agreed, Anthony. Never understood it. Frank, what's the deepest you've ever swam down for a bait, and what was the bait? Morgan, you probably wouldn't have noticed, given the number that were there. I was amused at Hella's interview with Ben as he turned his nose up to conventional fishing, and I guess I should have hoped and mindlessly thrown the bank at nothing, hoping for a bass to get there and bite my bait. I guess I should have fished like a moron. I guess I should have fished like every other bass fisherman that built the sport that I love. I guess I should have fished like them. Probably 8 feet to get back my last tube jig back, because that's all I could get this noise. Frank, that's pretty hardcore, dude. I ain't swimming for a damn tube. Even it is my last one. In his defense, there's no rocks. I don't know what was the predominant pattern. I didn't watch enough to kind of figure any of that out, or hear any of that, or see any of that. I watched Justin Hamner fish for a little while, and it was dumb. Like, the dude was just sitting on like a pea gravel looking bank, like a couple casts off the bank, just kind of flipping around with a jerkbait, and he got hung and went and got it and threw back in the pocket, and it was odd. Shallow moving baits. That's fun. I did see the guy in second throwing a big spinnerbait and a something else. I liked that. A lot of jig fish. AJ, you should have gone with a backpack full of Mindy Magic. Said, you guys like jig fishing? I got one for you. Don't tell your friends. Jigs, jerking, spinner, cheddar, and a crankbait. Guys are obviously, Clay, you've got to think about this, dude. If you really break it down, and you're out there fishing, in Milliken's defense, I told Eric this, that one thing that forward facing is going to do is it is going to crush people's confidence. So if you know that you can cast to a fish and see how it reacts, how stupid are you going to feel to just go throw at the bank at nothing on a whim? You know what I mean? Like, if you've got Justin Hamner, is like looking at fish and throwing at them, and you have forward facing on your boat, and then you just decide, I'm just going to go fishing. And you go for like 15 minutes and you don't have a bite. I think, or 10 minutes or however long, aren't you going to start feeling stupid? Like, I could be looking at what I'm throwing at, but I'm not. I'm just throwing at stuff. I missed some comments. Typical Grand Lake, Matt Robertson. Can't remember who said it, but Ray Mercer. Ray Mercer? It's not Ray. What's his name? Chrissy throwing a spook? That's interesting. Team No Fish, you talking about Roy D. Mercer? The guy commented Red Crest was a bust. I heard there was like 500 people there. I can see that. A new way to fish. I don't think it's. I don't agree. I'm Team Randy. It's not a new way of fish. It's lame. You at least know, Kyle. You at least know. I mean, that's the thing about it is you at least know if they don't want a black worm or anything you throw at them, then you can go do something else. But I do think it's going to make lots of people feel stupid. I mean, how can you not? Especially if you're pretty good at it. You know what I mean? Like if you're pretty practiced. And I think that's the point that maybe Ben's at, is that like if he goes to the bank and just goes fishing, he feels like a fool. Because why wouldn't he just go look at something and throw at it? That's kind of what I gathered from that short clip it. That's what everybody says, Gator. It's not that easy, but it's not. I mean, you can't. How can somebody say it's not that easy to somebody, not just me, the rest of the fishing world for the last 40 years that's been throwing at fish that they didn't know were there? That's not easy. So when a guy says, "Oh, you can't," just because you can see them doesn't mean you can catch them. True, but it's a hell of a lot easier. It gave us a way to hunt fish, kind of. I mean, if you want to call it that. Turned off on the northern swing. That would be interesting. Morgan, that's what everybody's always said about Grand. I've never fished Grand, but everybody just says the fish just like getting shallow there. That's what I couldn't tell, like what Hamner was doing, because it was really odd that he caught him so good, because he was weird. It was weird because he wasn't like looking, but he was, and he was just making odd casts. There's only a small population of fish on the screen. Do they get tight to the bottom, or is it that they're in a range that they're hard to find? Abundance of blobs. Couldn't see a lot of fish that were eating his jerkbait. It's interesting. Is it just clutter? Catching up, Piz 250 baits, $300 cash only. Digging his jerkbait into the bottom. That's weird. Why not throw a crankbait? Maybe so, Hella. I couldn't wrap my head around what he was doing because it didn't look like anything like structured. It was just, and he wasn't very far off the bank, and he was making kind of like short casts and just odd watching. Was Hammer throwing a 110? I guess I don't know that he affiliated with any hard bait brand. Jerking offshore. That's funny. A floating or suspending couldn't sink. Using a 110. He's got a Yozuri deal. Not Yozurian. Hella, that sounds like somebody I know. That sounds like another guy I know that likes those big bill jerkers for their deflection properties. Yozuri deal, but throw a 110 plus match shed. I think everybody would have known it was Bald Face Live if he would have said he didn't have a alternative jerkbait. Should a good shot. Yozuri is going to be sending him a dirty message. 6 jerkbaits tied on. Wow. I'll be interested to watch this show. Hopefully they can put all of this together in a nice package to make it make more sense for me only watching very limited amounts of live. It seemed like using a deep diver wouldn't show it. No, because that would piss Yozuri off. Must have huge forearms for all that jerking. It's probably from, they're probably tuned from all the jig swimming. Was the coverage that bad? What was wrong with the coverage, Chris? I thought everybody liked Bassmaster coverage in comparison to the other people. Yozuri Bold Table Rock. Jerkbait. They missed the boat on cameras. So they didn't put, they only have like 10 cameramen again? Or did they have them all on the wrong people? They chose the wrong anglers. Everyone was in Horse Creek. I didn't watch a half hour of it all 3 days. Something better to do than doing that. I heard that, Darius. I watched what I could, but I had kids all weekend. Amy went out of town, so I tried to convince the Bean and the Bebe to watch one of the little day 2 recaps or something. They weren't having it. They wanted to watch Mario. Bill dancing fighter during some of the coverage was painful. Sounded like Bill was on his deathbed getting out as many stories as possible. That's what Burns said. He's like, damn, this is hard. This is hard to watch these guys. And then I heard somebody say they liked it. Who knows? Who knows? Pay attention. Watch this crap, bro. Watch this crap. I'm curious to know who was the fighter didn't hardly get a word in. Yeah, you got to think, dude. If you sit down next to Bill Dance, I mean, I don't know who's going to try and like not just sit there and listen to Bill Dance talk. You don't want to be one of these bums. That's what I told the Bean yesterday. I brought her up here, and she was looking at baits, and she's like, when I get a little bigger, Dada, can I paint baits? I said, yeah, for fun. And she was like, okay. I was like, not to earn a living. There's way better ways to do that. And she's like, got it. But if you like doing it for fun, we can do that. Oh yeah, what's that guy's name? Steve. Because it was not this tournament, it was the Lake Fork tournament. He was talking. What did he say? He said something that sounded terrible. I forget who he was talking about, but it was one of the anglers. Maybe not being able to pronounce their name or something, or I forget what it was. Talking about Bowman. Who's the old guy that does like the kind of random question asking? Probably Brendan Bowman. Yeah, it's Bowman. He said something. I think he was talking to Davey Hyde. And I forget what they were talking about, but it sounded really bad. And I was thinking, why is this guy on here? Like, get rid of this guy. I guess he's old cloth. Yeah, I mean, Clay, it kind of makes his job difficult. And it's probably just not interesting for him to commentate because he's not into it. You know what I mean? That's just like if you're not into bowling and somebody's like, oh, go commentate this bowling match, and you're like, I don't really care about bowling. Like, I bowled for fun, but like I don't really like bowling. Doesn't matter what gender. Wrong crowd, Mercer. Bass Fanatic. Agreed. Bass Fanatic, the other thing that I don't understand is that, like, they acted way faster on the A-rig. And we're talking about an A-rig. And it got banned. how are they gonna turn the blind eye? Start us, yeah. That's actually a true statement. A seniors tour, which would be terrible, but you could start a forward facingless seniors tour. John, that could be a good point. They might still have their tail tucked between their leg because they popped on that thing so fast, and now they kind of feel stupid about it. I think that's the other. I think that's what. I think that's the problem that Bassmaster is going to have, is that everything that they are built on, all their information, is stupid. Like all their magazines, irrelevant. You really don't, like, kids aren't going to need to read Bassmaster. They're not going to get on the website to read old articles. That it doesn't matter. Like if that Trey McKinney kid was a dick, and after he got through like shining all his fish, and they interviewed him, they said, "What were those fish doing?" You know what? It doesn't matter. I don't care. Oh, do you think those fish will are moving up, or do you think they're spawning soon? I don't care. Don't know. Do you think like anything about specific, like what the fish were doing, what they're doing, when they're doing it? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Didn't read about it in a Bassmaster. Don't know why they were there. Don't care why they were there. All I know is they were there, and I caught them. A-rig thrower? No. Actually, every time I hear somebody say they caught them on an A-rig, I think, oh, I forgot about that damn thing. I have one. I have a umbrella. But you're right, Clay. They're definitely going to have. I mean, there's a white whale in the room that says, "I don't need Bassmaster. I don't need your shitty articles because they don't matter. They're dumb. Like, shut up, Bassmaster, you bunch of old geezers writing stupid articles. I'll just go watch YouTube, learn more." Yeah, Johnny, I certainly agree. I think that's a point that Blockett tries to make a lot, is that like you could have some kid that's just like dedicated his life to bass fishing, and he's like exceptional bass fisherman, but he's never going to get the opportunity because his parents are broke dicks. You know what I mean? I mean, I guess there's people that would argue that you could nothing's impossible and you can, you know, get anything you want, but I think it's hard for a kid that young to be able to like conceptualize how that is possible. Burns, you just shut it down now. You just don't let guys look at them. That's easy. And just fish. I mean, what else do you want? I mean, you have to have a set. Like at some point, you have to have a set of rules that you're going to stand behind. It might not be forward facing, but at some point, there's going to have to be somebody draw a line in the sand and say, okay, this is what bass fishing is, and this is what we're going to continue to do. This is not the direction we want to go. No, Hanner, I don't think came from anything. Sound like he's still working. 250 horsepower, fair enough. 21-foot boat. I guess that's a rule. 8-foot and less rods. I mean, I feel like that's a pretty good, like where we were at like 5 years ago is a pretty good standard to fish by. Darius, you know what? I was a member forever, dude, just like everybody else. And when I forget, I used to get it in college, and something happened, and I was like, dude, maybe it was when it was when all the Federation stuff stopped. MPFL should ban it. Yeah, they're not so established that they're like going to ruin some sort of like reputation or fan base. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it would hurt them at all. They could get away with it. That's true. That's just Bass and Fanatic. You're going to have it in any walk of life, so it doesn't matter what it is. Like, you see it in every sport. You know, a kid shows up and plays baseball, and he's a really naturally talented athlete that practices a lot, and then you've got some kid over there that's been doing batting practice with you know, Jose Canseco for the last 3 years since he was 4 years old, and you wonder why he's good. Another kid's been in his backyard just hitting balls all day. It's not just for having well-rounded anglers. They are intent on having the next KVD because the sport is dying. Well, they're really trying to kill it. Johnny, they probably went belly up. They probably went belly up. That's the other thing. I don't know. What is this bait? This one looks a little different, Burnsy. No, I need to look those people up. I can't remember what their name was, but it was something stupid sounding. Everything woke goes broke. Maybe. What do you think? I was thinking about this a couple days ago during the Classic. What would Ray Scott think? That's a good question to ask. Have you painted many of the Spro Chad sheds? Yes. More than I like to recall. Bass and Fanatic, if you're new, is probably my most loathed bait to paint. It just felt a little girthier. I don't think anything's different. Maybe it was like a heavier piece of, like a denser piece of balsa or something, but I picked it up and it felt different. I will say I have enjoyed painting the Spro ones. The resin ones, not so much. The attendance for Tulsa. I'd be interested to know if there was records broken like every other year. I doubt it, because they're usually hee-hawing about it, and there was no hee-hawing about it this year. So they're just going to make that. Would have laughed. Yeah, that's the only thing. Ray Scott would have said, y'all can use it, but you have to pay more. You can pay another $5,000 per tournament in entries, and you can use it. I think Wheeler was at the expo. Hey! What? Hey, quit barking. I think Morgan. Hey, chill. I think Morgan Mason got a picture sitting in his lap. What? Is there somebody out there? Go eat them. Have an example of why I hate them? Yes, because they're such highly sought after baits, and they have pinholes all in them. Like, people would just get like chubbed up over the thought of touching one of these baits, and then you hold them and it's just covered in pinholes. And those bother me. Intruder alert. Sorry, Anthony, I just blasted your ears. It wasn't me. I guess Morgan's not here to defend himself. Where is this? Oh, what I was going to say earlier is that one thing that I don't like is that when I would watch Bassmasters as a kid, I would see Brower and I would see all the guys I looked up to, and their rigs were attainable. Maybe not to the exact spec, chill. But I could get, you know, an older, like 18-foot bass boat, Stratus or whatever. That's what all my buddies had like Stratuses and stuff, Astros, like something that was a little bit affordable. And, you know, they had like the old shitty Humminbirds on it and trolling motor. And you could go out there and fish and you could look like the pros. You know what I mean? It might not be exact, but the trolling motors weren't so far-fetched that you couldn't go get like a nice, decent trolling motor. Electronics really weren't that big of a deal. But if you had like the glitter rig, you could look like your favorite Bass Pro and, like, you know, go out there and rip bass and dream of being a Bass Pro. But now, if you want to look like your favorite Bass Pro, you're not going to get in an 18-foot Stratus, and it's not relatable anymore. Like, that's one thing that sucks about the technology, is that, like, for the younger generation and the, you know, people that look up to the guys that fish pro, it's getting out of arm's reach. Shallow bite is improving. I think it just needs to be regulated at tournament level. It's nice to have the whole lake less pressured. Smallmouth simulation. I'll catch you in that in another reality, Anthony. Bass and Fanatic. Dude, his backhand roll cast was exquisite. It was like watching a fine artist paint a painting. Like Takahiro's underhanded backcast was incredible. Said Hamner desperately needed a boat when he qualified. He had a 17-foot Triton that's newer than anything I've owned. You know what's weird is when I was in Tuscaloosa, I guess he's not too much younger, but like, I don't remember hearing about him. You know what I mean? Like he was like this phenom. Like I knew who he was, but he wasn't like to me, he wasn't like one of those like big names. Johnny Takahiro's, if you watch him at the Red Crest, roll that chatterbait under bushes. Did I think about putting glitter? I did. I was going to use red, but I didn't have the right glitter. But I got to get better red glitter. I wanted red glitter on the watermelon colored one, but I didn't have the right red glitter. The red glitter I have is like clumpy and spiky. I could see that. There's no doubt. I mean, obviously the guy can fish, but I guess I've probably just been out of touch with the Northport, Tuscaloosa fishing scene. Steve Kennedy did his own rebuild every year on his outboard. He didn't buy new. Yeah, Steve's a different breed. Did he just buy a new block every year and put it on? Oh, Morgan, we were talking about you getting your picture taken in Jacob Wheeler's lap. Can you share that with us? Berkeley skipped the Classic. I saw you mention no Berkeley, but it didn't register. Yeah, maybe Berkeley's on the way out. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they crunched some numbers and Kennedy doesn't know shit about glide baits. That sounds very Joshish. Maybe there's some truth to that. Listening to Zaldane's podcast with him, it kind of sounded like that. I don't know if that's just Steve or I didn't feel like I was listening to an absolute master class of a technician. I saw a picture. Bob Downey leaving. I didn't know that. Bass Fanatic. Only thing Steve chases is baits with swiveling hook hangers. Everything else is trash. Hell, I saw that and I was more interested to know how the Philly cheesesteak sandwich was. How would you rate it? Ooh, Brian, you got hosed. Half the big companies like Berkeley don't even sell baits, they just have show baits. Yeah, that's kind of hard to justify showing up and not selling anything. Why did the guy get DQ'd on day 2? Didn't hear about that either. Now we're getting the juicy stuff. Decent sandwich, not great. Filled you up. Berkeley just hired informants. Yeah, they didn't even need to be there. Maybe they didn't want to get bashed. I like the braided split rings. I like the idea of it, but not really. I mean, I don't know that I would. I don't know that I fish enough or would catch enough bass over the course of the next year um, that it would ever make a difference. But I could see if maybe I fished for a living to where I could make an accurate, depiction of what actually happened with the hooks. If I catch 2,000 bass a year and on a hard bait, and I felt like in a year's fishing I caught extra fish that maybe would have come off. It's hard to say. It's hard to judge uh, hookups and like that kind of stuff because it's really hard to measure. Stop. You know what I mean? Because everybody's had days where you go out there with like the dullest, crappiest hooks, and you never lose a fish. Like they couldn't be hooked any better. And then you go out there with like brand new, super sharp hooks, and you get a fish, and like they're like hooked with like one little piece of like skin dragging them on, and they come off, or like they just don't get it good. There's been so many times over the course of my life where I've caught them on dull hooks, I've missed them on sharp hooks, like swiveling hangers, non-swiveling hangers. Like it to me, there's just so many variables that like I just try and catch them and get them in the boat as fast as possible. You know what I mean? That was how I kind of like dealt with it, rather than like fart around walking them around the boat like Fritz. I was under the impression that when I hook a fish, I just want to get it in the boat as quickly as possible, so there's less time, there's less room for error. Within reason. I'm not saying I'm gonna hook a 5-pounder on a crankbait and just like start reeling and pumping, but you know what I mean. The longer they're in the water, the more opportunities to me there are for them to come off, whether you've got twisting hook hangers, fixed ones, any of that. I don't know what to think of Cherry's speech. Couldn't tell if he was saying he just wasn't far from retiring or just take it like maybe him and someone close to his health wasn't going good. Morgan, that would make sense. He wouldn't have to change all his or he wouldn't have to worry about people putting the hangers on his baits. His hooks could do it for him. And then he could be happy. Or he could do the braid stuff. He could tie braid on all of his hangers. Drew Cook was late. 5-pound penalty. Huh. A lot of weight. Do you double the line like normal, and what knot do you tie? Marty, I forget. My dad does it. He came in here and he was like, check this out. I was like, what is it? And he did it on a topwater. And it looked pretty, like whatever he was doing. I think he saw some Ot Defoe video, and that's what like triggered him. But I'll see if I can find the video. What do you think, Marty? Ot Defoe has a great video. There you go. Must have been Defoe. But my dad came in here with a Pop-R and did it on a Pop-R. It's pretty cool, and it didn't really take him that long. I could see doing it on topwater, because it's not like anybody has like 100 topwaters like you do like crankbaits. Jim and Fritz, 30 minutes to get a 1-pounder by doing the chicken dance, pretty much. They are going to the Bass Lab today. Anyone use the Spro Fat Papa? Not me. I won't do. I like the Aruku shad, the little one, but that's about it for me in Spro products. Christy was peddling a Spro reel. Dude, why would you go with Spro? Ugh. Daryl, you've got over 100 Spro baits? That's a lot, dude. How do you like painting the bigger cranks? It's not my favorite. It's not my favorite. It's not terrible, though. There's worse things to paint. Where's Hayden? What's Hayden got? Oh, Hayden likes the Spro Fat Papa. Did you find some on clearance, AJ? Yeah, AJ's the rock crawler guru. Sure did. Sure did. Anyone get the number 7 spook? Barnes, here's the deal. I'll tell you why I don't like painting them. It's because it's a lot of real estate that, in my opinion, needs not be painted like this. Because when you put the shoulders on this bait, you put the dot, all the real estate is covered. You don't have any weird, like, football fields of openness. You have a bait of this magnitude. You have giant pieces of real estate here that look like you have to put, like, I put the oversized gill mark on it, the big dot. Like, if you paint it like a standard crankbait and not use like oversized stuff, it doesn't look finished. It needs like stuff to take up all that real estate. Scott York likes to Spro Fat Papa. I'd probably like it more if it didn't have the stupid Spro eyes on it. Yeah, I got around that there now, Marty. I just paint 3/4 of the bait. But I can't get in on the good stuff from Burns on the account of Hella Mole with Full Junior Britain. So throw a lot of Spro cranks. Hella Mole. $3.99. I mean, it's hard to beat $3.99 for. I don't know. You could. I don't know that you could pay me $3.99 to pop those slanted eyes out and then have to cut new ones to put back in there. The old. Wouldn't that make sense? Clay. Damn, Burnsy. Burnsy's building them faster than I can sand them and paint them. You're a machine. Darius? Brian, are you saying Darius is the mole? Are you pointing a moley finger at Darius? The guy that just rips bass on Kentucky Lake and minds his own business? Hella wasn't interested in our measly little 2-inch crankbaits. If it's not 9 to 12 inches and jointed, Hella doesn't have a use for it anymore. He's a big bait guy. He's a big bait guy now. He got behind Steve Kennedy, and over one Philly cheesesteak with Steve Kennedy, Hella goes and buys 6 10-inch glide baits. Now we're arguing over who's the mole. What'd the 11-inch go for at the Classic? Ryan, I would guess $250. Gator's the mole. Hella's the mole. Brendan's the mole. We've got everybody is the mole now. I'm guessing $250. Tattoo 11 was $400. Chris, I thought that bait was bigger than that. I think that bait's 13. The Tony? I think the Tony's 13 inches. Darius is the Kentucky mole. Checking in from Kentucky. Darius, what are you going to do? What are you going to do when the fish move shallow. Is that really going to tweak your melon? Dude, Travis, that thing was so awkward to fish. It was not an enjoyable experience. And part of it was my beef with it is that I didn't like the butts on all these rods for swim baits are like this long, and it forces you to cast a certain way. And if they would shorten them up just a little bit, they would make, to me, for a better experience than having a 6-foot butt section. Clay, I've seen some of those. They're pretty entertaining, dude. The dudes are always fishing. I watched one with Taku. I guess that's what he did back in the day. Was he fished those like bank tournaments? But like, they just look like they're in some like industrial like drainage ditch, ripping bass. It's cool to see how they approach it though. Brendan, I don't want to learn to cast another way. I just want to learn. I just want to throw a bait normal. Like, you could grab the handle and like lob it, but the handle's so long you can't, like, you have to hold it out here to like make that cast. But if it was just like a little bit shorter, you could just throw it. But don't worry. Josh and I discussed that. He's going to take care of that because he also, I'm not so stupid. Because I told him, I said, this is my problem with these swim bait poles. And he said, yeah, mine too. I said, good. He said, that's why I might change that. I'm getting them shallow now. 8 foot is shallow. Darius, what would you do if I brought my boat to Kentucky Lake and was like, Darius, let's go fishing? And I got up in 3 feet of water. Would you start twitching? Maybe even 2, Darius. What if I got in 2 feet of water? Would you start acting funny? Brendan, that's the point, though. You learn how to fish it with what you've got because everybody makes a rod that way because everybody's been told this is what you need. And I think that's what Josh and I came to agreement on, is that we might not necessarily need a musky pole because that's all this stuff is, and it hadn't changed. They just get longer. Is Reaction at the Classic this year? I would tell you to get off the fish. He would say, Painter dude, you're on top of them. Move out. Get out. Get away from my precious bass. You're sitting on top of their heads. Reaction did have a new color out for the Classic. Well, Burns is doing a Darius only drop. Brendan, I think it's already. I think it exists already. I think it's already been made. The Bass World is ripping off the muskie and the crappie world. Yeah, it's getting to be where it's all becoming one kind of. Tato brand. I don't want to give up his juice, but it's not a collaborative effort. His favorite depth, deep. And I mean, I show favoritism to the dirt. I'll admit that. With these, I'm selfish when it comes to these Burns baits. I don't show much love to the mid-depthers, but I'm not a mid-depther. I'm not a mid-depther. Dude, I don't feel like, I mean, I know I'm doing these really slow, but I don't even feel like I've knocked half of these things out. Darius, what's it going to take for the water to get up in the bushes? I mean, I feel like y'all get tons of rain. Hell, y'all are getting damn naders every weekend. Big Malone, what's new? Inshore travel rods. I guess the root was a mid-depth bait. Darius threw that one. Hella threw that one. I threw that one. Burns has to put his foot down and say, "Painter dude, it's my turn. We're gonna show some love to the mid-depth guys." Government won't let it get back up. Well, that's a shame if that's the case. And it seems like there's always rain events. Ryan, I'm just sanding a few baits from the builder dude. Burns, what are these? Well, I know what they are, but so here's how these came to fruition. So I sent Burns a bait. I said, I didn't say anything. I think I just sent it to him. And he said, "What is this?" I said, "I don't know. You sent it to me." He said, "When?" I said, "I don't know, 6, 7 years ago, 5, 6 years ago." So when I was in Texas. So badass bait, caught the shit out of fish on it. And he said, "I don't even remember what that is or why I sent it to you." I said, "I don't know, but I'd like more of them." So he said, "Will do." So I'll have to name this one something Texas themed. What you been painting, Big Malone? The root is my favorite, Darius. Kind of a Bagley style, but Burns flare. We don't know what the original bait was, but it worked and it ran exceptionally good. I have to come up with something. Can't rip off Texas shad since it already exists. Ghost shad. AJ's still out there hunting for the... I know I've been putting way too much paint on baits for AJ. I don't have any new AJ baits. This dog likes to get right behind me, and when I move, I'm always scared I'm going to crush her. Steer shad, like steers and beers. Lone Star. I do like Lone Star beer. I wish I had Lone Star beer. Send them back, Darius. I'll fix them up. We'll restore them to their previous beauty. If they need a refresh, just let me know. I don't strip the paint off of a new crankbait. No need to. You open up, unless you've got like a sandblaster or something. But it's really not necessary. Just scuff it up, paint it. Unless like the only time you need to strip paint is if the paint you're trying to paint over is questionable. So because your paint is only going to be as good as what's under it. So if I'm painting over a Lucky Craft, whoever paints Lucky Crafts knows what they're doing. They're paint sticks. So if I'm painting over something else that I don't know what it is or know like how it's going to react, that might be worth stripping. But on a bait like a 1.5 that's got like cut scales and like gill plates and stuff, like if you start trying to strip that, you're never going to get all the stuff out of the little cuts in the scales. You'd have to sandblast it, and it's just a lot just to paint a crankbait. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, you're just painting a crankbait. It's not a damn frame off restoration project for like, you know, some collectible car. And I used to like, you know, I'd want my baits perfect like that. Some baits you can do that are smooth sided, like a Norman that's not gel coated, you can get down. And it's nice painting a bait that's clean, but Darius, I'm with you. I wouldn't touch them. I wouldn't mess with them. Yeah, another thing, like wood baits, you start trying to strip like a Rapala, and then you start getting down to the build coats, and you start taking that stuff off, and then you've opened up a whole nother can of worms. Send some Ozark trail baits. Well, I strip them. I'll take the eyes out, and I'll take and I'll sand them. Caught a bag on Ozark trail brush hogs. They had some Ozark trail Cincos at Walmart last time I went for $1. They were on the clearance section. I think I think I've about expired this piece of scratchy pad. Are those Ozark Trail? Are those China baits? Because I know there's. It seems like it's almost just as feasible to have baits produced here in the soft plastic realm. That would make the Whatnot Boys jelly. I haven't heard much out of the Whatnot Boys. Are they still pumping stuff out over there? Oh, I think I did. I think my inventory was wrong. I didn't list these last night. Or I didn't list enough. I got 2 extras. Should take them to Whatnot. I'll do a 2-bait Whatnot episode. Have I scuffed the smaller? No, I'm still trying to get through the big ones. Baxter was live on Whatnot during the Classic weigh-in. That's an interesting timing choice. Bass and Fanatic, what did you say? Let me get back up. Yeah, H2O baits are good. They're made at the same manufacturer as Pradco baits. I'm damn near positive. They make the same. They make bombers, stuff like that. Same company, same manufacturer. This weekend on Whatnot was pretty dead. Baxter did stream, but it was short. Something sold for $1. I mean, that's how it is, though. I mean, you can't sell a Series 5 Sexy Shad for $17, and then when you sell something for $1, get pissed. You know what I mean? It's just the ups and the downs when you decide to stream during the Classic. Darius, I got to refund everybody because apparently it didn't work. I got it to work, but it didn't work for anybody else. So I have to get in there and figure out how to refund everybody. Good old days of Fishing Flea Market. It was nice, AJ, because you could just get on there and like sell something immediately. Like you didn't have to wait. That was the best thing. What percent does Whatnot take? I think it's like 2.8%, 3%, 10%. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. It's not terribly hateful though. Bought some new Impact 10XDs for $2. That's a pretty good deal. Real good. Need $50 for beer? Just throw a few baits up. There you go. What people could go on your website and spend $15 for? Nah. We'll buy it on Fishing Flea Market for $40. think on average 11%. That seems high. I thought it wasn't that high. I thought it was better than eBay. And I feel like eBay is like 12. And I felt like it was more than better than eBay. 80 miles. Hell, are you riding solo? AJ, you thinking about dipping into the whatnot realm? Gotta have customers. I notice guys do better with different baits. Interesting. I feel like, do y'all see the same people on different streams, or is it like y'all always see a bunch of new people on whatnot shopping for fishing stuff? I would think the little community of bass fishing buyers on whatnot would not be huge. I've seen Hella say slay on bandits and DD22s on whatnot. You mean purchasing them? Lots of the same people. Tim, how long you been hiding in here? Long enough to hear us talk about you, or read Brendan comment about you chicken dancing around the boat, landing 1-pounders. See a lot of the same guys. I wonder if it's growing. I mean, I'm sure they'll tell you it is, but I agree, Darius. It'll fade out. It will fade out. Guys who own it better sell. But I mean, I could see it. I mean, it seems like a lot more. It's an investment, though. Like on eBay, you can go shopping. On whatnot, you really can't go shopping. You just have to wait. You know what I mean? Johnny says whatnot is here to stay. Maybe so. Maybe so. I don't hate it. I actually enjoy it. But I mean, it's the same thing kind of happened. Johnny thinks he's damn Gary V over here. Mark my word. You better get in now. Bunch of DeWalt and Milwaukee. I think that's the deal. Is that like when I first got on there, everybody was looking for deals and there were no deals. But it's the same thing with like why did the flea market groups fail? AJ, what happened? And I put those in the same kind of arena as whatnot for bass fishing lures. Like those Facebook groups used to be huge. And then they just kind of petered out. And it was the same thing. Guys were just having pretty much live auctions on a Facebook group. And they just slowly go away. AJ didn't even have to have a website. He would just go on Facebook. Oversaturated, and I think it stops showing the newest stuff first. Yeah, because that would pose a problem if everybody's new post is getting sent to the bottom. Who's going to be the first pro to sell on Whatnot? I mean, it's not a bad idea. If Pro has enough time to sit there and sell stuff. Most of those guys don't seem like they care enough. Another thing about a pro, what percentage of them have enough money that it doesn't matter? They don't need Whatnot money. They don't need to sell their baits. Like, if they can give them to Brody of the Lake and let him sell them on eBay and they get a little bit of change back, that's cool. I feel like most of them, they don't need to unload their tackle. It'd be cool, but I think most of them have enough money that they're not going to waste their time sitting on Whatnot hawking baits for 2 hours so they can make $1,000. They'll go make $1,000 doing what rich people do. That's what Brody of the Lake needs to get on Whatnot. I think he'd do way better there than eBay because he could tell his story of the baits and who they were. You know what I mean? I guess that's where Brody of the Lake comes in and Baxter. Wraps all his rod handles so they're clean at the end of the year when he sells them. People started distrusting, or they stopped trusting PayPal. I guess, yeah, you probably had a lot of scumbags get in there and try to sell people crankbaits. And there's probably some guys getting hosed and offering friends and family and getting paid through friends and family and then getting their money taken. I think you just had an influx of shitty sellers that went out and bought an airbrush, learned how to paint like after a month, started selling baits, and just bad business people that never intended to be a business or intended to like have any kind of longevity. They just wanted to like make a quick buck and just like screw people. I don't know. Clay, I know. I'm a member of like 6 of them. It's unbelievable. The audacity. One seller can sell a bait for nothing, then 5 hours later, another seller can sell the exact same bait for 6 times more. Is it the timing? Is it the viewers? What is it? You're lucky I watch your free stuff. The money grab painters. Yeah, those lots of them. Dude, I could never do that. I had buddies that would do that. That would leave the plastic on their rod handles. It would drive me absolutely nuts. I remember I took one off one of my buddy's rods, and he was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm not fishing with fucking plastic on this rod." And he's like, "Dude, it's gonna get dirty." I'm like, "Yeah, that's the point." Bass Fanatic, I have. It's awesome. Clay, what else am I supposed to wear? It's all I've got, dude. Otherwise, I'd have to actually go buy clothes. Baitman and Heli get paid on most of their baits. Other sellers don't get the same amount. That's what they say. I'm with you, Tim. I'm with you. Like, why am I going to let the guy buying the rod after me enjoy it and me have to put up with fishing with plastic? Unless you enjoy the feel of plastic over cork. I don't know. I don't know. Which shirt? The one I'm wearing? I never did these. I need to order some more. Yeah, this is a good one. I've got a darker one, but this one was my favorite. I think they have it in a long sleeve too. I need to check. I forget who makes this thing. I probably already pulled the tag out. I did. I'll see if I can find them again. Burns, you know what I'll do? Maybe I'll get this color shirt on it and put that on it. Would that look stupid or look okay? That would be very, very builder dude-ish. Brian has been asking for this shirt for a while. Sorry, dudes. I've got like 5 to 6 people that have members only stuff and feel like they are looking at me every time they mention it. Clay, have you heard about Tackle Camp? I've got Castledines is pretty good. It used to be. He kind of let it go by the wayside, and now he just answers questions in his members only thing. But it's okay. I don't mind it. I don't mind supporting what he does. If he wants to do that, answer questions. I don't. That's not. I don't ask questions, so it's okay. No, it's not worth watching the replay, Tim. You'll just be even more angry at BBC if you go back and watch. It's on the list, Brian. We got to wait for it to warm up. That needs to be in May. That's primo buzzbait season down here. I got to get. I might go fishing this week again. My boat doesn't run, but I can idle places. That's a good point, Clay. I don't know that I've ever felt that way. I feel like a friend when I'm free. It's a good thing that all the 6th Sense customers don't feel that way. You ever use the 2-piece 4-blade buzzers? No, AJ, I never got it. I know I was never into those that are like riveted together. I could have sold a lot of Scoper Die shirts at the Classic. You're correct. I could have taken my 6,000 Wacky Bands and a box of Scoper Die shirts, and I would probably be riding home on my booster seat of $20 bills. You're probably right, Brendan. I could have gambled And I could have taken the last month and take all my cash and put it into t-shirts and just printed hundreds of t-shirts and rolled the dice and went to the Classic and sat on my box of t-shirts and said, all right, let's see if we can make some cash. Would have probably been smart, but risky. And I'm not that confident. I mean, we're talking about guys that can sell a Strike King Series 5 on Whatnot for $4, and then the same bait go up for sale from the guy who bought it 40 minutes later, and it sell for 17. Like, backpack and a little wagon. Yeah, you just walk around with the Scope or Die shirt on with the for sale sign on it. Ask me about my shirt. I might have to finish these tonight. Fish like Daddy taught you. Sounds kind of creepy. I'd like to know how many FBD hats got sold. Yeah, I could have shipped Hella. Hella could have hawked shirts, but that's not very. Oh, I wouldn't want to ask someone to do that. That would not be cool. That would take away from his experience at the Classic. The Classic experience. Well, almost made it 2 hours. So I need to wrap this up and get these things done. I got 6 more. The FBD hats are going to lead to legal issues. Is it flip boat docks or fish boat docks? I guess it can be anything you use your imagination for. Jeremy, we got ice cream trucks all over the place down here. All over the place. Anything but what it is. I mean, you think he sold like 500? Oh, you're talking about the color and some of the logo. The color, I don't think matters because, I mean, that's everybody's color. I mean, if you look at we've been over this before, how many colors in the fishing industry use red and yellow. It's literally all of them. Zoom, Strike King, Berkeley, Ducket, they're all red and yellow. But I mean, I think you can get away with murder if all of this is claimed as a what's the word? It's how people skirt around issues like this. I forget the term, but there's a way around it. Watson's smart. He ain't gonna get in trouble. Unless he gets caught up in a lawsuit and it takes a while. And Boyd wants to bleed him. Which Watson's got some cash. He ain't got Boyd cash, but Watson's got plenty of damn money. Yeah, hopefully, but I mean, I feel like we all know that Boyd will Boyd will go to great lengths to prove a point. Clay, would you wear an FBD hat, or are you wearing one now? What's really funny to me was that, like, all of this shit was going down at Redcrest. You know what I mean? Like, you've got a guy that fishes Major League Fishing. He's at the Redcrest Expo, and he's selling all this, like, eat dick Boyd Duckett stuff. Pretty awesome. Tim, send me a picture, dude. Let me see these things. Dude, I've got the coolest guitar strap ever. I have to send you a picture of it. It's a little wide for me. It's like a bass strap, but I'll send you a picture of it. Don't like explaining. What does FBD mean? Don't know. Fat booty drum. They could. Maybe they have. Maybe they should join forces. Maybe it's the whole good cop, bad cop thing. Maybe Boyd's in on it. Think? Go Jake Paul. I can't believe he's actually going to get in the ring with Mike Tyson. To quote Jacob Wheeler and all the other Dustin Connells and all the rest of that little clan, unreal. Unbelievable. You know what all those dudes say? Anytime they get Connell and Wheeler and whoever else, unbelievable, unreal. Kind of like the wider leather straps. It's on one they got. The real decorative. Oh yeah, like those, Tim. Tyson is an animal, dude. That's like, we're talking about Mike Tyson. That dude is a savage. I wouldn't get in Mike Tyson in the ring with Mike Tyson if he was damn 100 years old in a damn wheelchair, dude. That dude is a freak. But I guess he's not. I guess he won't be able to physically, like, beat the brakes off of Jake Paul, right? Brian, you do? You have a collection? Send me a picture. I'd like to see him. You play guitar? Is that fight at Cowboy Stadium? Chris, you going? I think it might be, now that you say that. The MLF Team Series is great, and they are going to start streaming it now. If you can get the sport, better go. Could be a slam dunk. Bass Fanatic, do you watch the Alabama Bass Trail on YouTube? Do you follow their footage? It's final. They wear gear, so they'll have headgear on, and they'll have bigger gloves. Ding Squad would rig the bets. Unreal. Unbelievable. Unreal, Clay. Oh, you fish it. How do you think? How do you feel about their footage? Are you happy with it, or you think they could shape it up a little bit? I, for one, think they could clean it up a little bit and make it a little more interesting. But it's you run into an issue advertise or promoting local tournaments, and the issue is these guys fish every weekend, and they fish these lakes over and over and over and over, and they compete, and that's how a lot of these guys make a lot of their money. So it's different than a guy that fishes nationally and just goes from lake to lake. These guys always fish the same lake, so they're much less willing to give up the goods knowing that they're coming back the next week, or that they're fishing a pattern that they've been fishing for the last 20 years, and it's held up, and it's something that they do, and it's the way they get bit this time of year. And they might not necessarily want everybody to see or hear that, but I feel like there's a lot more to the story that's out there, like guys fishing. There's a lot more personalities that I think you could do like spotlights on, and like just talent, you know what I mean? Just like telling the stories of like fishing in Alabama. I think there's a lot there, but not maybe not necessarily just like the lake stuff, but I don't know. Maybe it's K. I don't know. Maybe they need a different commentator. Tyson's trainer is even scared of him. Dude, if you're not scared of Mike Tyson, something is wrong. That dude is, like I said, he is the definition of a damn savage. Don't like the trackers and cameras in the boat. A lot don't. Yeah. Especially like I wouldn't care if I'm at Lake Martin and they're like, TK, can we put a camera in your boat? Sure, dude. I'm never coming back to Lake Martin. Like, I might, but I don't care about Lake Martin. I don't want to come back here. So, yeah, put a camera in my boat. Hey, TK, can we have a camera in your boat at Miller's Ferry? No. Go put it in Bass Fanatics boat. Like, I don't want people to see what I do there because it like means something to me. But like anywhere else, sure. I wouldn't step in that ring once. No. That's the scary thing about Tyson is even though he's like cleaned up his like aggression, he's still got that like that hair trigger. Tyson scares himself. Probably. Tyson biting Jake Paul's ear off. Now we're talking. Now we're getting somewhere. Now we're getting somewhere. I mean, it's gonna be fun to watch, which I'm not gonna watch it, but it's gonna be cool to see just Mike Tyson fight again. Even he did that other shitty fight. I like watching Mike Tyson fight. I don't care if he's 100. Yeah, I don't know that boxing will ever see another like Mike Tyson. I mean, dude was a friggin' animal. Let an ear go for the algorithm. That is exactly what it would be for. He eats magic mushrooms on his podcast and can tell he's a scary dude. Yeah, he's got demons. That was where Rapala named their red color from, named after Mike Tyson. He's going to see Jake as a slave owner. Dude, I hope, like, I guess that's what everybody wants, not just me. Everybody wants Tyson to, like, twitch out and, like, have one of those Tyson moments and just go berserk and, like, forget what planet he's on and, like, think he's back in, like, you know, ancient Rome and, like, and he's like a gladiator and he's got to, like, kill this guy. And, like, in Mike Tyson's mind, that's where he's at. Except he's in a boxing ring with, what's his dick? Jake Paul. He's still an animal. He scared Joe Rogan so bad that Joe Rogan now has a wider desk. That's pretty awesome. I didn't know that. But did he go on Rogan? I haven't seen that one, I don't think. Maybe I have. I saw Rogan pissed me off. I saw some episode and he just sounded like a total, like, yes ma'am. Like, you could tell he was like, he didn't know shit about what he was talking about, and he was just like, oh yeah. I forget who he was talking about. Been on there twice. I'm surprised the Tyson Rogan little clippets that come up on YouTube haven't started circulating in my algorithm. I need to. I'm sure now that I'm talking about it, it will be. I didn't hear Cat. I watched the 3-hour one with him with what's his name? The football player, dude. I watched that one just like the other 100 million people that watched it. Bob Lazar, I saw that one. I've seen all the weird ones, like the interesting people, like the science people that tell you, you know, about other dimensions. Manson would be good on there. Although Manson's just talking. I don't know what amount of Manson's stories and intellectual property are his own or they're, you know, just regurgitated other stuff. Like if he has any concepts of his own regarding this reality. Full episodes, that's nice. Oh, because he didn't ask him about the he didn't ask him about the Hawaii stuff. T Manson, yes. T-Speed. T-Speed. I have to find that clip I saw where he was being super douchey. Floating furry refrigerator. I don't even know what that is. I must not be paying attention enough these days. Oh yeah, the Boneyard guy. The guy that what did he do? He ate like prehistoric mammoth meat. Wasn't that the story, Burnsy? They dug up a mammoth and it still had some flesh, and then they cooked it and ate it. Hey, Justin, thanks for swinging in. We got live from the lake. I live right on Grand Lake and very close to the boat slips at Wolf Creek. I don't fish with the tournament going on. I'm glad yesterday. Justin, did you see anything over the course of the last couple of days of the best fishermen in the world fishing your home lake? Did you see anything that interested you, or that you thought was different or intriguing, or something that you might try when you go out on the lake? The Rock threw him under the bus a while back, and Rogan acted like it never happened. Not about Hawaii, but about COVID and horsewormer. Oh. He knew The Rock wasn't gonna. The Rock is a puppet, dude. He has made it to that level of celebrity where he can't do anything. Like, he cannot speak freely. Joe talked like COVID was non-existent, then went and got the whole cocktail first sign of symptoms. Yeah. Or was he taking cold baths then? He said it was shit. Yeah, I don't know if I'd be down to eat a. I mean, I guess if somebody. I mean, what do y'all do? If you go to a dude's house and you're like, "What's for dinner?" He's like, "I want to cook you a meal." You're like, "All right." And you walk out on the grill. He throws a couple steaks down, and you're like, "Those smell funny." I'm like, "Yeah, dry aged." I'm like, okay. And you go inside and sit down to eat with him, and you're like, "What is this?" It's like, "Oh, it's a mammoth." Like a woolly mammoth? Yeah, we dug it up yesterday. You want me to eat this? Yeah. I mean, if a dude puts in front of you a 13 million year old preserved mammoth steak, I mean, I think you got to eat it. The carving cave. Later, Burnsy. Be careful. Later, Clay. John Reeves. That's him. John Reeves. Morgan, I'm trying to get all these baits sanded. I got two more. And then I'm going to go home and see the babies. I was at Honey Creek, heated duck, and one best friend guy's dog off of a fish. Was missing with her last go. Blowing out your docks. Fish stopped hitting. Interesting. Very interesting. Well, hopefully, I don't think what people saw this weekend, I don't think it's going to have like a all the guys within driving distance of Grand Lake. I don't think they're going to be hooking up their bass rigs, chomping at the bit to get over to Grand Lake this weekend. So I don't know that you'll see an influx of people hammering your lake like you would on certain lakes at a certain time of the year. Rugged would kick your head off. You see Berkeley came on the floor of big game? I did. Where are they? Did y'all just see lights flicker? Biggest bag, 22 maybe. I don't think anybody topped Hamner's first day bag. Why am I getting blackouts going here? We start talking about big game, fluoro, and the lights start flickering. Justin, I don't know. I guess the more people. Berkeley, big game. Fluoro. I don't know. I do think it could possibly be rebranded Vanish. I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping. I just don't know how they're going to sell a fluorocarbon at a big game price without it being Vanish. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that it's going to, I don't think Berkeley big game is going to be the equivalent in the fluorocarbon market. Like, I feel like big game in the mono world, as far as like breaking strengths and stuff, can hold its own and holding up against other monos. But I don't think if you put Berkeley big game fluoro against other fluoros in the market, I think it's just going to get smoked. And the other thing about it is those dipshits came out with 17-pound Berkeley big game fluorocarbon. No, we can't have 17-pound mono, but we can have it in this shitty fluorocarbon. So that's what I'm most pissed about. I didn't realize Berkeley wasn't at the Classic because I asked Chris when he was there. He's like, you need anything? I said, yeah, I need you to go find somebody that works for Berkeley and get them to tell you if this shit is Vanish or not. Or what's good about it. But I'll try it. All about the money. Yeah. I think that's what we're learning about the entire world, not just our little group of bass fishermen. Yeah, Berkeley must have lurked, except they were they mistook what I was saying. So AJ broke him. Brennan, you have a spool of 17-pound Berkeley fluoro. Brennan says he told him at ICAST to make 17-pound big game, and they did. Brendan's taking responsibility. Except they did it in fluoro, not actual big game. We'll see. I'll give it a try. I'll be able to tell you when I put it in my hands if it's going to work or not. We'll see. Tim, is Berkeley big game fluoro not new? Is this shit been out for a while? Have I been missing it this whole time? So I've got a couple things that I'm not opposed to using fluoro for. One of them being swimming a worm. Swimming on mono is not my favorite, and braid is too much. I would potentially like a lesser stretch option for swimming a worm. Mono is not terrible until you get a bite on the end of your cast. Seagar makes the BPS line. Yeah, I heard that. I guess that's why the Bass Pro Shops fluorocarbon's so good. What was that product that it was something KVD was using Bass Pro Shops, and I was thinking to myself, I wonder who makes that, because if he's using it, it's probably good. BBC left that part out. I think he did. They've changed the XPS fluoro, AJ. I'm about to have to take this dog out for a TT break. Unless she peed on the floor in there, I'll have to go check. What have they done to everybody's precious XPF fluoro? I mean, I feel like Bass Pro Shops fluoro was like the gold standard for a while for like affordable, really good fluorocarbon. The white label was good. Hated when they went to the KVD fluoro. Why would they make KVD's signature fluoro worse? That should have made it better, right? I mean, if it's got KVD's name on it. Do you trust that's what do you trust that that's what KVD is actually using? No respect for the 17, Kyle. Singer is the only one that actually produces raw materials to make fluoro. It's interesting. I got for our wedding, I got a KVD plates and bowls set from Bass Pro Shops. That's what we eat off of every night. It was in our registry. All right. I like the 15 myself, BBC. I do like the 20. 15 and 20. I would like 17 though. I have some 17, but it's European 17, and when you measure out the diameter of the actual line and you convert it, it's like a 13-pound test. Maybe it's actual 17-pound breaking strength. I don't know. All right, dudes. I'm out of here. Whoa. All right. Say bye-bye, puppy. We're gonna go take the dog out to pee-pee. You ready to go pee-pee? You ready to go pee-pee? All right. Damn, Brendan, you gotta chill out, bro. Chill out on the damn TRT or whatever you're taking. Oh, Bassin Fanatic, thanks for sticking with me. We'll check y'all next time. Thanks for hanging around, dudes. Check y'all later. Bye-bye.